channel, The Ink the Reader, and today I am finally doing, well not finally, I am just doing April TBR. Now, I'm filming this like 10 days before the end of the month. I have no idea if actually we'll have any carry on from March. I don't know basically if I have finished my TBR for March, or maybe there is an additional one or two. And if there are, well, too bad for me, I guess. There's nothing I can do at this point. So without further ado, I'm gonna start. And if you don't know the format in which I'm doing this, you can always check out my video that I link it down below. You'll find me explaining a bit more what I'm doing. So let's start with the fantasy TBR. And I've actually chosen a subcategory of fantasy, which I didn't think I would choose so quickly. But I've heard somebody from work really recommending this, and they're really curious. And this month, I am gonna tackle the Christian fantasy. Now, I'm not a religious person, so when I mean Christian-based fantasy, so a fantasy based on Christianity, I actually mean that I'm gonna read Paradise Lost by John Milton. So basically, I'm gonna read the Bible written by the devil. That's what I mean with I'm gonna read a Christian book. This is long and it's thick, even if it's in verses. This is not an easy read, but hopefully I love it. And this is a Penguin classic. I love the cover. It just sounds so appealing to me that I chose to bump it up to the list. Then for my horror TBR, I'm gonna actually read Joe Hill Nosferatu. As you can see already from just two books that I chose, this month I'm gonna tackle huge books. The reason being is that the lessons are over in April, so I've got like a month before the exam starts, and I plan to read a lot and just relax the days I'm not working, which are not that many. But still, so yeah, Nosferatu. Do I know anything about this book? No, I just know from the title that I think it's gonna be about vampires. But I did hear somebody kind of say they went in expecting a book just about vampires, or classical vampire books, and they were disappointed because of that. So I'm gonna keep my mind a little bit more open regarding what this might be. So it might be about a vampire, it might be not. Let's see. I love this cover. I think I was able to find this cover, I think it's out of print now, because I looked like thrift bookstore, I think, something like that. So I was very excited when I got my hands on this. And for the Japanese horror, instead I'm gonna read The Crimson Labyrinth by Yuzuki Kishi. So I chose this just because it's the only one I've left that I've not read, so I need to purchase the other ones in the list in my TBR. By the way, all the TBRs I'm mentioning, if they are up on my channel, are gonna be linked down below. So this is the only one I could choose because it's, well, in my possession at the moment. And what I know about this is that it's a horror Japanese book based on these two characters that all of a sudden found themselves on another planet. They're being kind of kidnapped or something, I'm not sure. And they have to escape this planet with their lives by going through this labyrinth. And I think the way the labyrinth is made is that it's gonna really try to kill them. That's the only thing I know. I might be completely wrong. I've read the synopsis months ago, but let's see. It doesn't sound like something that I might actually enjoy, but I think I purchased this and added this to my TBR because it was one of the most famous ones as far as Japanese horror goes. So I am curious, but I'm also a bit scared I won't actually like this one, because Hunger Games style books are not really my thing. So let's see. Then I got my usual Terry Pratchett and the Discworld series TBR, and this month I'm gonna read Going Postal. I don't know what number of this is. It's 33. That's useful, actually. I wrote it down. So this is number 33 in the series, and I think it's part of the Industrial Revolution sub-series, if I'm not mistaken. Again, it's chunky, but usually I read these very quickly. I tend to kind of read half an hour in the morning, and usually start with this. So I read half an hour in the morning. Terry Pratchett book just makes me happy, usually gives me something to smile about, usually they're really funny. So hopefully I can tackle this in a month's time by reading half an hour in the morning. Then for my European TBR, kind of going through Europe, each country, and reading a book by an author. And this month I'm gonna tackle a country which is in Europe, yeah, it's in Asia as well, so it's Euro-Asia, but I count this as Europe, don't count for me. And I'm gonna read Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. Now, full disclosure, I actually attempted to read this when I was a child, and I stopped. And for clearly obvious reasons. I was just very uncomfortable back then. Now I'm an adult woman. I think I can tackle these. This looks smaller than it actually is. Let's see if I can read this, because even back then, I do not tend to kind of DNF books either. So the fact that I put this down, and it's not a good sign. But hopefully my taste really changed. I've studied forensic psychology, so this might be interesting in that sense. Or maybe just to make a judgment on what I know now, professionally speaking. I don't know. I'm a bit hesitant again, but I'm also curious to see, and I love this cover, so let's see. Now, the next two books are from two different TBRs, of course, but I mentioned them when I did my non-fiction TBR, or true crime TBR, sorry. That I was gonna read them together just because it made more sense, and I'm gonna explain in a second. So for my true crime TBR, I'm gonna read Jack the Ripper. This is the complete history of Jack the Ripper by Philip Sudgen. I think I got another encyclopedia about Jack the Ripper, which is even huger than this. But I wanted to start with this. It sounds more like a narration style. It sounds like more as a story than just bare informations. And let's see. And this is another huge book. I've got this sensation I'm setting myself up to fail this month. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm gonna read this for true crime. And for my non-fictions TBR, which I don't have actually on my channel, I'm just picking up a non-fiction book every month to read. I'm gonna read The Five, which is The Untold Lives of Women Killed by Jack the Ripper by Ellie Rubenhold. And I think she did something very amazing, because we always hear, especially in TV shows and fiction and all of that, about Jack the Ripper, but we don't really ever hear about the women he actually killed and their history, and how they came to do the work they were doing, and they kind of disappear. They're just names mentioned, and I think the majority of people, me included, would not even know what even one of their names when we speak about Jack the Ripper. Like, oh yeah, he killed prostitutes, and that's what I know, and probably the majority of us know. So the fact that she put together this book researching their lives is amazing, and I'm very much looking forward to reading these. Also, this cover, can we just, yeah. So it makes sense to reading them together. So I will have a complete picture of the women he killed and of the killer. For my finishing series, I am gonna read Goddess by Josephine Angelini. This is another YA series which I started when I was 15, 16. And this was a story where basically goddesses and gods from Greek mythology would reincarnate each time in humans. Their fights and love stories and all that would play out all over and over again. That's all I remember. I've not read the synopsis of this, because I cannot even tell you, because this is the third and final book in the series anyway. So far I've not been very lucky in loving the series, the ending of a series that I used to love back then. Just, I don't read YA that much anymore these days, so I've been struggling through them, but I promised that I was gonna at least attempt. So let's attempt these. We have left is my TBR jar, which last month I cheated, so I didn't have to show you these. So because this is about to spill all over, and I think it's not fair, because then I don't choose one. What I'm gonna do is gonna put these all on my desk, and then I'm gonna film myself picking one from the desk. Okay, so then we're gonna open it together. I'm gonna roll with this. That is a mess. I'm not looking forward to tidy up. But anyway, let's open up. This is Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go and grab these behind.
Eventually.
Apart from the fact that I almost died to get to these, I'm gonna read Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. I think it's how you pronounce that. She also wrote Little Fires Everywhere, which I don't think I own, but let's start with this and see if I like it. I think it's about this American Chinese family, and which have this kind of prodigy daughter, and all of a sudden she's found dead in a lake, and I think it's about the aftermath of their daughter dying. And it sounds very hard-hitting, contemporary kind of book / literary fiction. And yeah, that's the last one for this month. sounds like a very good mix. Try with my TBR to have like a mix of genres, and it's always nice because I'm managing to actually do this month, this year. But then when the TBR jar adds another genre which you didn't have in it, it's even better. So let me grab these. So this is my TBR for April. It's clearly probably not doable, considering that I'm still working and I will still have to revise for my exams. But I really hope that the weather is collaborating so I can go out a solid 2 hours a day when I don't work and read and tackle at least most of them. Let's see. Thank you for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments below what is your TBR for the month, and I'm gonna see you next time. Ciao!